First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubdan Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today, Yellow Jambala. The Heavenly King of the North, the Vaishravana. Tutan Siti Rinpoche. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, all directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs today are from Taichung, the Zhongshan Medical College, affiliated plastic surgery department, the head of the department, Dr. Zhang Senlong. And the general manager of the agricultural department of Chaotun Town, Mr. Xiang, law advisor to Triveda School, Ms. Jennifer Zhou, Triveda School Scholars Group and Medical Group, the Chief Secretary to the Taiwan Government, Mr. Zheng Peifu, and Mrs. Zheng, the General Manager of the Jingyi Enterprise, Ms. Zhang Yizhen, and from Taiwan Textile Group Limited, the General Manager, Mr. Han, from Taipei City, the Warm Society Board of Directors, Ms. Zheng, and the rep to the Council from Taiwan City, and the former legislator, the rep to the Taichung City, and the president of Indonesian Tartan Culture, Mr. Arjun Chen, from Japan, the Soren Dolinu Company President, Ms. And from the media in Hong Kong, Mr. Yen Lien Wu. And the president of the Worldwide Lotus Light Charity Society, and the producers for the Great Perfection Dharma Heritage Exposition, the Sages of Tantrayana, Master Lien Yu, and the hostess, Pei Jun, Dharma Sister, the host to Lamdre and the Sutra of Perfect Enlightenment, Master Lien He, and Master Lien Hai, and Master Lien Jia. And the producers of the Gini Gengsang Shinten, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi. And thank you for their donations, each for 100,000 NT dollars from Hong Kong. Dharma Sister Zong, Dharma Brother Su Qitian, Dharma Sister Chen Xianwen, Dharma Brother Xiao Zijie, and the auction Da Hang from Taipei, Mr. Ma Sun Zhong, Good afternoon, everybody. How do you do?
Hola, amigo. Te quiero mucho.
In Portuguese, Saúde. So today we performed the Homa of Jambala, and inside the Homa fire, Jambala appeared. Jambala and his treasure mouse. So the treasure mouse opened its mouth and spat out lots of precious jewels and lots of money. Okane. Okane is money. Money, honey. Oh, and like Thai baht and Japanese yen and NT dollars. Last time, when I just came back, there was a couple who gave Grandmaster a huge offering. And I found it shocked, but at the beginning of book signing, there were no one signing books, but there were two huge red envelopes that need signing, but no, because they won the lottery. So I was very pleased that I learned that someone won the lottery. And they won the Wei Li Cai, which is the Taiwan lottery, and the first prize. And they did say that it is the first prize. And it happened before, when it reaches 300 million NT dollars were won by 4 people, and one of them was True Buddha school disciple. And this couple also won the first prize. And now it has reached over 100 million NT dollars, and no one has won it yet. Oh, they came and they left?
Yep.
They were blessed. So if you won, you won. If you don't, you don't. It's fact. What is the most realistic in this world is money. But today, the primary supplicants were less than last time, that Padma Kumara's Homa, which was good. Because now you focus more on the wealth of the mental and spiritual life. However, we still pray to Chambala so that in the mind and spiritual they are perfect and complete, and at the same time in the body and the materialistic world they are also fulfilled and content. Money is very pragmatic issue. In the ancient time, Asvaghosha created the 50 stanzas of Guru devotion. During the Asvaghosha time, inside the 50 stanzas of the Guru devotions, he wrote that all the income from Dharma propagation belong to the lineage of Guru. I'm so pleased to hear that. What he meant was and the lineage root Guru will distribute the income to all the other gurus and the temples. So in True Buddha school, this 50 stanzas of Guru devotion is not like that. It's different from the 50 stanzas authored by Asvaghosha. There was a master that said, okay, let's do it this way. Let's divide it. Any income from Dharma ceremonies and should be divided into 3 parts. One part should be to the organizing temple, and a third, should be given to the master that's presiding, and another third should be given to the lineage root guru. That was divided by Master Lian Han. So divided equally into 3 parts. Hmm? 哦 this is from the abacus. Like how you calculate 31 is to 31. That's good, but I told Master Lian Han, no need. Grandmaster's part should be given to the temples and the masters. So offering to Grandmaster should be voluntary. Because for me, everything is voluntary. It doesn't matter how much you offer. The offering to Grandmaster is not necessarily a third of the income. It's voluntary. Because for Grandmaster, everything is voluntary. It's okay if you offer or if you don't offer. So, a few days, that was a Jingpo chapter from Malaysia, and we dined together. They were doctors, and one of them told me, it's a real problem. Every time X came to that chapter, this doctor would make a huge offering to X. So he offered a big offering for Grandmaster and asked X to pass it on to Grandmaster. The doctor was the Chinese medical doctor. So one huge offering for X and one huge offering for Grandmaster, and asked X to pass it to Grandmaster. When X knew that the offering was for her, she was very pleased and accepted the offering. And this other package is for Grandmaster. And then she tightened her lips. And she reluctantly accepted the offering, but her face changed. It's like poo on your face. When she heard that the offering is for Grandmaster, her face changed. And the doctor found it really strange. Why? Oh, now he finally understood X. And the doctor asked me, did you receive my offering? Did I receive it? How come? Please say louder. No. Ever since I went into retreat, until today, seated here on this Dharma throne, she never made offering for me. How many years has that been? 17 years. 17 to 18 years. 17 years. No offerings. Of course, the offerings that for Grandmaster that she needs to pass on, of course, were all swallowed by her. And then there were many from mainland China who asked her to transfer the offerings to Grandmaster, and they were all eaten by her. If I were the Xi Jinping, I would put her into prison because she's into corruption. It's okay if you don't make any offering. You have not made any offerings for 17 years. But you also swallowed the offerings that other people give to Grandmaster. So that's like corruption, right? That should have been put into prison. If I were the President Xi, I would have put her in prison. But the tummy is huge. When she breathes in, it's as big as that. Exhale, inhale. The toad. It's like a toad. So it's like taking in everything. So that's the real fact. So the huge offerings from mainland China were all recorded in the bookkeepings. There's someone give me that bookkeepings, because this person were doing the bookkeeping for her for 3 years. That the offerings for Grandmaster have been given to the central. So the accountant gave Grandmaster the records because she felt that this accountant felt that they should be given to Grandmaster too, because it's about Grandmaster's offerings. So Master Huijing, next to Jing fourth chapter, there was Zahui. The offerings for Grandmaster were also eaten by her. So for this past 70 years, I don't know how much she had swallowed. Don't know how much she had embezzled. Money is money. It's okay for you yourself not to make offering to Grandmaster. It's fine to Grandmaster. But other people's offerings that were given to be given to Grandmaster, and you took them all. That's really a bad conscience. It's really too much. But it's okay. Grandmaster is not going to worry about it. Everything is okay for Grandmaster. When I give empowerment to Vajramasters, of all these Vajramasters, there was one that they give me an offering, like a tea bag, like in China. It's the black tea bag. It's not like a whole box. It's just one tea bag for the Acharya empowerment to be a Vajramaster in. But he just made an offering of a tea bag and he placed it inside the red envelope and offered that to Grandmaster. And Grandmaster, accepting the red envelope, thought it must have been a piece of gold. Oh, that's not bad. That the envelope would have some weight and would know that it is some gold. That I would confer the empowerment with pleasure. When I got home and opened the red envelope, there was a thread with the bag, a tea bag attached to it. But it's okay. It's making up for some, because some people offer big offering and some people offer small offering. So they all average out. And someone was receiving the Acharya empowerment. He was really reverent toward Grandmaster. This very huge and thick envelope in US dollars, about $10,000. And I thought, so 10,000 US dollars, that's really good. That's about 300,000 NT dollars. That was good. I was very happy. When I opened it, I was very happy. But the first bill was $100 bill, and then the second, and the rest were $1 bill. And all just $1 bills. But it's okay. The intention probably is $10,000. Maybe he didn't have any money during the Acharya empowerment. So only $100 bill and the rest $1 bill. But it's okay, and Grandmaster is not bothered by it. About money, Grandmaster is not bothered by it at all. It's just how your heart is. Primarily is your mindset, is the thought that comes with it. So that's why I still confer the empowerment. Also for spiritual consultation, doesn't matter whether your offering is huge or tiny. That's my outlook on money. Because truly nothing belongs to you. Nothing on earth belongs to you. The houses, the cars, and the houses will deteriorate and go bad, and the cars will depreciate and get old and break down, and the lands also don't always belong to you. There was a huge earthquake in Lamdre, and because it was a huge tremble, that your piece of land became somebody else's. This happened too. So in Chinese, real estate property is the unmoved assets, but actually they're moving to. Before there were no typhoon in Vietnam, but now they do. Places that didn't have earthquakes before, now they do. And Taiwan and Japan have lots of earthquakes. And Seattle and the West Coast, the Rocky Mountains, all the way to California. And have you watched the news in California? They have fire, forest fire. It's really bad. There were fires in North California and also Southern California. They have burned. How many houses have been burned down? So over 200,000 people have no homes. There were over 500 houses burned down, and there were people killed in it too. And we have a disciple that lived in Northern California, and in the middle of the night, Grandmaster woke her up, and she woke up and she heard some sound and noticed that the fire was coming. So brought all the family members in the car and drove away. And the disciples was saved. And when they got back home, the whole house were burned down, just ashes, and with some leftover pillars. And the whole county was burned down to ash. And next door, there were an old couple that did not leave the house, and they were burned down. They were burned inside the house. So the fires were really horrible in California, in northern and southern California. So do the houses belong to you? Now people have no more homes. 210,000 people. So honestly, how do you feel when you see people losing their homes? So if you lose your house and all your belongings all in a short time, how would you feel? So this is exchanging places, like putting yourself in other people's shoes, and this is how to generate bodhicitta. So when you lose everything, actually human life is the same. You have nothing. So children, your wife, they're not yours. Unless your wife and you are burned down together, then your wife is yours. If you are the one that's burned, then how can the wife belong to you? So that's why we say that everything returns to emptiness. So that's why Grandmaster said, I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of anything because I know I have nothing. So I'm teaching you that actually everyone has nothing at all. Everything returns to emptiness. So the Jambala bestowing money made you that you would live when you're alive, you would live your life richer, and when you die, you would die with joy. So happily in Chinese. So you would only have joy after experience suffering. Otherwise, if you go to the heavenly realm, you don't care much about it because over there you have all the treasures. Only when you lose everything, then you would appreciate it. But at the end, ultimately, everything returns to emptiness. Recently, Taiwan has some changes in their taxes, also America. In the future, when you leave, all of a sudden there's a son that wants money from you. And that son would be the government who wants the inheritance money. The more money you have, the more taxes you would pay. If you're poor, then you don't have to pay taxes. Of course, if you have no money, you have no money to pay taxes. So the more money you have, the more taxes you pay. And in Taiwan, they're also changing the tax system. This is a real problem. So, for Tribhuda school, should we also catch the corrupt people? Then, if we do, then we should catch X, because there are lots of proofs. All the people who made offering to Grandmaster through X, then if Grandmaster said those offerings would be given to disciples, then you can go to X and ask for it. So what you want to get is Grandmaster's money, not X money. Right? Okay, that's it about Jambala. Now we'll talk about Lamdre. Now we talk about how purity is contaminated. The contamination refers to the mundane and immature Dharma vessels who are unable to practice on the path, and to the affinities who cannot bear fruit of realizations. By use of the vase empowerment that can purify the contaminants of the body, by use of the secret empowerment that can purify the contaminants of the speech, and by use of the wisdom empowerment that can purify the contaminants of the mind, and by use of the fourth empowerment that can purify and remedy the contaminants of the body, speech, and mind, and all other contaminants. Eliminate mundanity to become Dharma vessels that are able to practice, endowed with the good affinity to attain the fruition of the four bodies. If the empowerment is obtained through the use of a karma mudra or physical consort, it is considered the highest kind. It is closer to the superior wisdom on the chart, and in the continuum, the rise to the path is faster. If the empowerment is conferred upon one relying on the wisdom mudra to attain the path of liberation, it is slightly further from the chart, and the rise to the warmth yogic experiences is middling. If the empowerment is conferred based on mere words, it is of the lowest kind. Although the Guru is compassionate to confer the lineage of the fourth and three higher empowerments by use of words to the good Dharma vessels, even after obtaining the empowerments, it is very far from the target, and the yogic experiences will slow to rise. The so-called causal empowerment is to be obtained prior to entering the path at the Guru at the causal position, like placing marvelous treasures into a vessel or sowing seeds on the fertile soil. I need to explain this, but this is clear. The excerpt is quite clear. The meaning is, empowerment can be used for purification. When you receive purification, you regain your purification. Most importantly, base empowerment is to purify the contamination of the body. By receiving the base empowerment, your body will be purified. By receiving the second level empowerment for the inner tantra, the empowerment of the red and white flower, your speech karma will be eradicated, so your speech will be purified. And by receiving the third level empowerment, the secret empowerment, the touch empowerment, the third empowerment for the highest yoga tantra, that's to purify your mind, to purify your mind, to purify your mind, which is also to purify your heart. So there's three kinds of empowerments. The third kind is to purify the mind, and the fourth level empowerment is to purify the finer of the body, speech, and mind, the finer contaminations of the body, speech, and mind. And they all will be purified, and so your body, speech, and mind become purified. So four kinds. First, for the speech. The first is body, second speech, third is mind, and fourth, the finer contaminations of the body, speech, and mind. And when they're all purified, the three karma become three secrets. Those receiving the wisdom empowerment, when they have fruition, or they would attain nirvana kaya. And second, receiving the second empowerment, when they attain fruition, they would become the sambhogakaya. And third, when you have fruition from the third level empowerment, you would attain dharmakaya. And fourth, once you have fruition, then you become a Buddha, which is you attain the real body, the authentic body or kaya. So 4 different kinds. If the empowerment is obtained through the use of karma mudra, it is considered the highest kind. It is closer to the spiritual wisdom on the chart, and the rise to the path is faster. This is talking about the third level empowerment. If you use a physical consort or karma mudra, then your yogic experience would be bigger and faster and would be more successful, and that's the highest kind of fruition. And if you use the wisdom consort, and what is the wisdom consort? So wisdom mudra, which is also wisdom consort that you visualize. Like you visualize Vajrasattva. Vajrasattva is not a consort. Vajravarahi or Dojepatmu or the Mahasuri or Lokaswara, they're all Dakinis, and Dakinis descend, and you practice together with them. So the yogic experiences will be middling, because the experience will gradually rise. They don't rise very swiftly, because a karma mudra, a physical consort, would be faster, would be fast. Let's set an example. When you touch the 1,000 NT dollars, you feel good. Someone exchange their NT dollars to the good one, to the new ones. Oh, they iron the dollar bills, and every night they caress, they stack them together and then touch them. They feel very good. It feels real. Money is very real. So much money. Or when you check your savings, or one more zero, and you would feel elated. So this kind of feeling is very good. That's the highest kind. And the middling kind is the wisdom consort descend from the sky. They are intangible, and the yogic experiences is slow. Like you visualize that you're very rich now and you feel very happy. That in front of you stacks of NT dollar bills, how should I say it?
像你们军人呢，在早上起来的时候叠那个内务了。
Like when the soldiers were making their beds and they fold the blankets like tofu, like really sharp corners. But you visualize a stack of dollar bills and you touch it. Oh, come on, make me feel right away. But you feel nothing. So that's why it's written here that the yogic experience will be slow. But if you touch something real, then your heart starts to beat. But if it's not real, then you don't feel anything. So you use your thought to visualize the naked Dorje Patmo descend and practice together with you. And of course your experience will be slower. And that's the middling one. And then if the empowerment is just words, then that's the lowest kind. Okay. I have given you the refuge empowerment. Now you're a true Buddha disciple. That's all I said. Then you have received the empowerment. But this kind of feeling or experience is the lowest kind. It's just by words. Like the other day, I was walking on the street and someone riding on a motorcycle and saw me and stopped and got off the motorcycle. Are you Sung Yen Lu? And I said yes. I just saw your book at the Jin Shitang, the bookshop. I really liked it. I want to take refuge in you. But I said, there's no altar here, and you have no offering for me, and no offering items. And I don't know him at all. And he said, I really want to take refuge in you. But I replied, now you have taken refuge. So that's empowerment by words, by the Root Guru, that you have taken refuge and you have received the empowerments just through the words. But this kind of spiritual experience is very slow. He asked, where can I see you? You're in Taichung. Why don't you go to Taiwan Lechang Temple on Saturday to receive refuge initiation? And he said, I have to work on Saturdays. What should I do? Where can I receive the real empowerment? And I told him, go to the Gongyuan Road, the Xianghua Lechang Temple, and you go ask Master Liao Yichun, Master Liao of that temple, and let him give you the refuge empowerment. It's close to a night market, Zhonghua Yes, night market. They sell lots of food stalls there. And he said, okay, he'll go there and find Master Liao for the refuge empowerment. Then he would receive the waste empowerment. So you can also receive empowerments by mere words. So the so-called causal empowerment is to be obtained prior to entering the path at a guru. So causal empowerment should be received from a guru at the causal position. What does it mean, a guru at a causal position? Is the basic guru. So below the lineage root guru, the gurus were divided into 4 kinds. So the Maha Vidya Dara Acharya Guru, that's the lineage root guru. And then the second level is the Maha Acharya. And the third level, just Acharya, Vajra Acharya. And the fourth level is just the Acharya. So the Maha Vidya Dara Vajra Acharya, and then Maha Vajra Acharya, and Acharya. But at True Buddhist School, we just have 2 levels, lineage root guru and then all the rest of the masters. But the causal position gurus are at the first level, at the lowest level, and they only understand the procedures. It's like placing the marvelous treasures into a good vessel, like the good seeds sown on the soil. So the faultless seeds, good seeds sown on the good soil. At the third level empowerment, the one that is most likely to succeed is the one with the karma mudra, with the physical consort, because they would have fast and real yogic experiences. So in Tantrayana, there are lots of things are based on the yogic experiences, and bodhisattvas would have 10 grounds. And the first level of bodhisattvahood so bodhisattvahood filled with joy. So that's the first level of bodhisattvahood. And the last one is the flower ornament bodhisattvahood. At that level or at that ground, you have comprehend all the Buddha Dharma. It's like the clouds in the sky, a huge clouds in the sky that you can deliver innumerable sentient beings. So it's like a backup Buddha, or you stand by to become a Buddha. So next you would become a Buddha. When it's your turn, you would become a Buddha. And you also called it like a waiting realization. That's the 10th ground bodhisattva. And then when you reach the 11th ground, that's Buddhahood. And one of them is that faraway action ground. It's like you have left the mundanity very, very far, but you have not arrived at the other shore, but you have walked very, very far, and that's the seventh ground of Bodhisattvahood. So Bodhisattvahood is divided into 10 levels based on your spiritual cultivation and your yogic experiences, divided into 10 grounds or 10 levels. Trying to find something made in Korea, but other than the washing machine, that's it. But I found a neighbor next door, and the name is Han, which is like Korea. This is play of words of Chinese. The family name is Han, and the name is Han Guo. Han Guo in Chinese is Korea. So Korea wins and Korea loses. So it's like money, it's a real problem. At night when I take the bus to go home, I noticed there was a man next to me and dressed very clean, tidy and simple. But there are marks of life on his face, and gazing sentimentally outside the windows, it's like looking at human lives. And based on the psychological research and my years of experience and my social experience, I decided that this person has their cell phones went dead. No battery on his cell phone. That's a problem. People nowadays, as soon as they have a minute, they would look at their cell phones and play the phones. Yeah, in this world, there's only one extraordinary person that would sit upright and lean on the Dharma's throne, because he has no cell phones to play. And that person is Grandmaster Lu. Because his phones, even if he has a phone, his phone would never ring. I have no cell phones. On my bags, on me, I have no cell phones, no phones. Lots of things are accident. Don't think that they're coincidences. They're all arranged. You think that the fire in California were coincidences? In this world, nobody knows how the fires happen. Only Grandmaster Lu can do the divination why the fires happen. But I will not tell you, it's a secret. someone got married
自己只爱新娘子一个人，没有
and
变化，这个好
express his love that he only loves his bride, and then if his heart changed,
出
then
过底，
he would die a horrible death.
地上的机械故
But a few years later,
当飞
he
机
took his
失控
mistress
急速
traveling
降落
abroad,
的时候啊，他想起新婚当天
and
誓
when
言
the plane was
会
in an
向
accident,
天祈祷，
he thought of his
不必让其
sworn,
他无辜的乘客一起受苦受难，
and he said that, he knows his problem. But how
只见
could you
天空传出一阵
have
怒吼，
the other passengers suffer
想
from
都
it
可以
too?
想。
Please
这些
save
家
them.
伙全部集中在同一架飞机上，可没有那么容易。
But then there was a voice in the sky that, please don't think that way, because it's really hard to gather all of these men together in a plane, in the same
小
plane.
山训练班，
On TV
所有的
yesterday I
小班都
saw
受训，
that all the mistresses in China should have
这个报
trainings.
道是小山，所有的小山都去参加这个补习
So
班。
the mistresses should attend the class and get some training. What was the title?
没有拆不散的家庭，还有没有不改变的事情，
So no
没
family
有能改
will
变。
stay intact together, and everything is possible. Anything is possible.
哦，没有拆不散的家庭， 只有
No family is
只
intact
有不改变的
forever,
事情。小山训练班，
but only uh, yourself that never change.
根本上是也变了。
Everything is ever changing. Grandma's lineage root guru
所有的同门
is
师也变
changing.
了。
Everybody is changing. All the masters are changing. All the disciples
我
are
也要
changing.
开一家补习班，
I also want to open
这个很有意思哦。碰到了畜生，跟他们斗争的话，会有3种结局。赢了，你比畜生还要畜生；输了，你比畜生还糟糕。平手，
If you
你
win,
跟畜生一样。
then you're like an animal. But if you lose, then you're worse than an animal. And then if you're equal, then you are the same as the animal.
其实我这回也算是多事，也算是多事。
So
但是呢，我为众生想，
maybe
其实我真的是多事。
I do too much, but I do it for sentient beings. Actually, I should just I shouldn't be bothered by it at all. Why did I take it onto myself to do something? Now I'm worse than the animal.
但是没办法，
But
我要为
what can I say? Because I'm thinking for all the disciples.
其实我讲过，佛教如果没
I
有
have
戒
said it. If there were no precepts in Buddhism, then that would be like fraud.
戒是在什么？在你自己的心呢、
And the precepts should be inside
你
your
到底有没
heart.
有发菩提心？真正的发菩提心，
Do you generate true bodhicitta?
你有没有
It's based on your heart.
有没有发菩提
Do
心？
you have the mind of denunciation? Do you have the mind of bodhicitta? You know it
是我
yourself.
们生活中的规矩，这是第一。
So
你要按照生活
the
中的规矩
precepts is the rules of True Buddha school. You have to follow the rules of True Buddha school. That each group has their own rules, and you have to follow the rules. Like in society, we have laws, and we have to abide by the laws to be legal. If you breach the laws, then you have violated the laws or the precepts or the rules, because the precepts are inside your mind, in the heart, and you have to abide by them. So if there are no precepts, then they're totally fraud. A religious group without precepts is a fraud. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.